Hello, my name is Reverend Dr. May Elise Cannon. Today is Tuesday, November 7th. It is the 32nd day since everything began on October 7th. I wanted to acknowledge, and our staff at Churches for Middle East Peace encouraged me to do this. I wanted to acknowledge that even for those of us, who are not in the Middle East, and this might sound crass, but you're probably tired of watching these videos and tired of hearing about this situation and tired of hearing about war and tired of hearing about what's going on in Gaza. And so I wanted to acknowledge that. I wanted to acknowledge that the work is tiring, and hearing about devastation and seeing buildings destroyed and hearing about death. It's traumatic, even those from a distance. Nothing, of course, nothing like that which people are going through. But for those who are far removed from the situation, it can be difficult to be attentive. I was having meetings a couple of weeks ago in Southern California, and someone said, at the end of the day, all I want to do is have a glass of wine and sit in front of the television. I don't want to pay attention to war going on in Gaza. And so my encouragement today is that we would take a deep breath. And as World Vision, taught me, and the prayer that they often pray, break our hearts for the things that break the heart of God. I pray that we would have the strength to take a deep breath and to keep going. And that you and I and others would have the courage to keep paying attention, maybe when we're bored, or discouraged, or have seemed to lose interest, or feel like you don't know anyone there. So why should you care? And we should care, one, because our country is complicit. For those of us who are Christians, we should care because God calls us to care for the least of these. And so I implore you, please keep paying attention. And thank you for those who are so deeply invested and who are praying and who are so engaged. The situation continues to be absolutely horrific. 32 days of straight bombing. And sometimes I think the powers that be, powers of darkness and spiritual powers and earthly powers, want us to give up and want us to be tired of hearing about it. And I hope that we will have stamina and stay in it. And part of solidarity means staying in it, even when maybe you don't know people, and even when you might not be all that directly connected. And so thank you. And stamina is more than just a flash in the pan. And so what does God call us to in this moment? I think he calls us to be faithful to this moment, to continue to pray, to continue to be present. We're saying stand in the gap, give, act, and pray. And soon we will be turning our hearts to Advent, and we'll be looking towards the anticipation of the birth of Jesus. And what does that mean when Christmas began in Bethlehem? And this year, literally, Christmas is going to be canceled. There will be no Christmas celebration in Bethlehem. And so we'll be talking about that some in the days ahead. So not all is discouraging. This weekend, there was mass mobilization in Washington, D.C. and in other cities around the world. But I heard from some who were present in D.C. this weekend. Some are saying it was 100,000 people who gathered, calling for an end to the war on Gaza. Others are saying it was 3 times that amount, that it was as many as 300,000 people. We heard reports that many people who actually work for the U.S. government were present, but that they wore masks so that they wouldn't be recognized. And I'm encouraged by the acts of people who are willing to take risks and are being courageous. So you've heard me talk about Josh Paul, who's a U.S. government official, a former State Department employee who quit his job because he would not advocate for U.S. weapons to be sold to Israel because he knew that they would be engaged in human rights violations, not only in violation of international law, but in violation of U.S. laws. And so I'm encouraged by the courage of people like Josh Paul. And I'm encouraged by the courage of people who work for organizations like Catholic Relief Services. And I wanted to read to you some of their notices. Catholic Relief Services does such incredible work. And they posted this on their social media. Children are writing the names. They're writing their own names on their hands and on their legs so that if they get shelled and found in hospitals, someone will be able to identify them. How is this the human world we're living in? We've come to expect that the area surrounding us or even the church will be struck, expecting that at any time the fear of being eliminated without understanding why, even as we are unarmed civilians, are subjected to such terror. Someone else said, when the sun sets, people stay inside. The bombing gets heavier and scarier, and everyone wishes that it would stay daylight. Even though there is bombardment during the day, it is harder at night. And in Gaza, everything is gray, and it is literally scorched earth. With a pounding headache and a painful chest, I embark on my daily mission of checking on our staff to ensure that they and their families are alive and safe. There are heroes right now in Gaza who are doing incredible work, keeping people alive, incredible work, staying alive and keeping their families alive. And so thank you for not giving up hope on their behalf. Thank you for calling for a ceasefire. Thank you for calling on your elected officials. And I say often that we must not give up hope, for despair is the luxury of the privileged. May we not give in to our anger, but may we ask that God transforms, our hatred, and that the love of God would pull the hatred from out of us, and that we would be ever so diligent in our advocacy. I've been praying, daily for people in Gaza, and the passage I just wanted to share with us as I close today is from 2 Corinthians, and this is what I've been praying. This is a compilation from 2 Corinthians chapter 4, that though we are hard pressed on every side, we are not crushed, perplexed, but not in despair, persecuted, but not abandoned, struck down, but not destroyed. Therefore, we do not lose heart. Though outwardly we are wasting away, inwardly we are being renewed day by day. For our light and momentary troubles are achieving for us eternal glory that far outweighs them all. So we fix our eyes not on what is seen, but on what is unseen. For what is seen is temporary, and what is unseen is eternal. And so we have hope that peace might be on the horizon, and we will continue to work toward that end. We invite you to join us. We'll have more opportunities for congressional advocacy in the days ahead. We have a prayer gathering on Thursday, our weekly briefing this Thursday. And we'll continue to work together toward peace.